And always great to welcome back to our show, particularly to Sarasota listeners down here. A good friend of us and a good friend of the show, and he's got a great new CD out. It's called John Pizzarelli Trio for Centennial Reasons, 100 Years Salute to Nat King Cole. We want to talk to him about it, and John joined us by telephone today from up in New York City. John, I know it's been a while since we chatted. That's my fault, but good to talk with you. How are you?
Good to talk with you. It's good to be heard.
I know you've, in the past, made many trips down to Sarasota. Hope you'll make another one soon. I know you're busy traveling around the country, but I know Sarasota loves you down here.
It sure does. I'm hoping to get down there for the 40th anniversary of the Sarasota Jazz Club, which I think is next year. 40 years.
Oh, great. Okay.
My father and I had started. We were the first guests down there 40 years ago, so I'm hoping to get down there to celebrate that.
You must have been 5 years old or less when you started.
You're a very kind person.
You and I are the same age, but I like to think we were younger than that 40 years ago.
I know. It's so funny. I think I look at pictures of my father on records now, and I say, he's 4 years younger than I am now.
Of course, Bucky Pizzarelli, for our listeners, great jazz guitarist, and of course you continue that legacy. Well, let's talk about the CD. I know we have limited time today, but I had a chance to listen through it, and of course, anytime you do a tribute to Nat King Cole, I know you did a previous album dedicated to him several years ago, but boy, what a tremendous talent.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Nat Cole is the reason why I do what I do. My father led me in the direction of his records probably in 1980, as I remember it, and I haven't looked back. I thought all that material is stunning, and to look back at it now, as a 58-year-old, it was a quite wonderful experience to play Paper Moon again and to play a majority of that original arrangement and get to straighten up, fly right, and hit that jive jack and all the big standards that just really got me to where I am. They're really great friends to me, those songs.
You look at Nat King Cole, and as great as he was, and people appreciate him, I think he's almost underrated how great he was. I mean, he was a tremendous singer, but also one of the great jazz piano players of all time. I think people tend to overlook that a little bit.
Yeah, and when you do watch his television show that aired for about a year and a half in the 50s,
right,
56, 57, I mean, it's amazing just how effortless he is when he sits down at the piano. You almost think like he's just ready to get up from the bench at any moment, but he's swinging so amazingly hard. Just the way he played the piano it seemed effortless. So you don't realize how great he's playing because he didn't make it look hard at all.
They ran those a few years ago, at least down here on PBS. It was a 15-minute show for a while, and I guess they went to a half hour, and I guess it got good ratings, but unfortunately, the times at that time, the South, they couldn't get sponsors, and just couldn't continue that show, right?
Yeah, the famous line from Nat Cole is when they couldn't get a sponsor, was Madison Avenue was afraid of the dark, is what he said.
Right.
And it was just, but he left us with so many great shows, with so many amazing people from the time. They all jumped in and did the show. And one of my particular favorites is the one with Oscar Peterson and all the members of Jazz at the Philharmonic. Was just a stunning program.
Wasn't there a story, I think I may have heard this on a station we both, you worked there, I listened to it, WNEW, that Oscar Peterson sounded so much like Nat King Cole when they sang, they made an agreement that Oscar wouldn't sing?
Oscar wouldn't sing and Nat wouldn't play the piano.
Yeah.
I think it's apocryphal, but it is sort of right after, I think shortly after Nat's death, Oscar made a record singing with Herb and Ray Brown, and it was pretty amazing how close he sounded like Nat. But I think Nat still wins.
Yeah, I think they might have played it on NEW at one time. Maybe Jonathan Schwartz or somebody did play it. Yeah, it sounds similar, but not exactly right. Yeah.
But it's still amazing. But there, and then when you think about Nat Cole's influence, that's the reason why Oscar had Ray Brown and Herb Ellis in that band. I mean, everybody wanted to emulate that sound of the early Nat Cole trio, which was what they call a drumless trio. So it was a great sound.
And Nat Cole, I guess they say, musicians' parlance, I guess, perfect pitch, right? I mean, he was right on it every time, the note.
Oh, yeah. I mean, just insanely. My father worked with him on a record called Looking Back, and I think he's on Send For Me also, and which they made in like the mid-'50s at Capitol here in New York, and said when he thought there was a wrong chord or something, that went over to the piano and said, here's what it should be, and he went boom, 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 and he played on the piano, and everybody took, you couldn't get anything by him. He was keeping everybody in line, and my father thought it was stunning. He was just like, he said he was the sharpest guy in the room.
I was going to ask you, your dad did work with him then on some dates.
Yes, he did. I know those two, Send For Me and Looking Back. I know those two actually because my father always remembered Looking Back, but it was Freddie Cole, Nat's brother, who said, I know your dad's on Send For Me, because he said, because I was on it too, and it was my first record date in New York, so that's how I found out my dad was on that one too.
Yeah. Your dad doing okay? Still able to work, or?
Hanging in there, not working at all, but I was out there yesterday in Jersey to see him, and we were playing a lot of records for him, and he's in good spirits. It's just he's 93, so we're letting him take a rest before he makes his triumphant return.
That's great. Yeah, we came down here a few times, as you said, with the jazz festival down here. Just looking at some of the songs on the CD and listening to them. I love the title of this one: "Save the Bones for Henry Jones, because Henry don't eat no meat." They don't write them like that anymore.
That's right. They certainly don't. That's a Danny Barker song that Nat recorded with Johnny Mercer. They did a duet of it. It was a hit song.
Right.
Was a lot of fun songs like that Nat recorded over the years, and I always was fond of that one.
And when you do these great classics like Body and Soul and Paper Moon, and of course, being a jazz musician as you are, there's a lot of room for improvisation, which you do. So I guess that makes it more fun for you too, right? To be able to improvise on top of it.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that was wonderful about the King Cole Trio is there, some of those songs like Straighten Up and Fly Right and Hit That Jive Jack are sort of, they're not really songs in a sense. They have a little message that gets you to the instrumental portion where they could play the jazz over. In that case, what they would call rhythm changes. So that's what's really fun about it. You have a little song you can sing, and then boom, you're right into getting to improvise and have fun with it too. Yeah. So that was I think what Nat Cole brought to brought this kind of commercial jazz to the forefront to popular listening.
Sad, too, when you think of it. I mean, he died relatively young. Unfortunately, he had the lung cancer. He was a heavy smoker, but I think he was only in his, mid-40s when he died. I mean, he left such a great legacy, right?
Yes, as a matter of fact, he died on February 15th of 1965 at 45 years old. And so you think only about a 25-year at the most kind of career, right. To fit all that great music into that small a time is amazing.
Of course, his daughter carried that tradition. Unfortunately, she passed away a couple of years ago, but a great legacy of music that whole family left. But
and Freddie Cole's still out there playing. I played with him another couple nights ago in Toronto.
Oh, great!
So still going, and another guy. Just the musicianship in that family was sensational.
Should mention John Pizzarelli Trio for Centennial Reasons, 100-year salute to Nat King Cole, produced by John and your wife Jessica, who I should also say you continue the radio show. I enjoy that. They get a chance to hear that on the computer. You still enjoy doing that?
Oh yeah, we're in our 13th year of Radio Deluxe, and which we record right in the Deluxe living room, and it's been going very well. So we have a lot of fun doing that too. It is a nice portion of our day.
I like the banter, kind of like old school radio, the old husband and wife radio shows. You kind of keeping that going. Remember those back in the day in New York? You could hear a few on WOR and some of those stations.
Yeah, somebody mentioned Texan Jinx, I think, was one of them. There were a lot of people always remind us that we sound like those programs, and it is fun for us to have that kind of thing. We pick our songs from different areas of the house, and we sit down and surprise each other with the material we played. It's been going very well.
I remember Ed and Peggy Fitzgerald. That was another one on WOR.
That's right, yes. Yes, sure.
When I was homesick, I listened to radio a lot, and I remember hearing those shows, so that was fun.
Yeah. The other fun one was Bob and Ray was on in the afternoon.
Bob and Ray, sure, yeah. And again, I mentioned before, you had a chance to work for a while at a station that I think so many people, even down here, there's people that work there that we meet the different, functions at WNEW. Boy, it went off the air over 25 years, almost 25 years ago, but people still remember it.
Oh, yeah. It was a big part of everybody's life, when just listening to the radio, having it on in the kitchen all day long, and then on the weekends, that was a part of going out on a Saturday night, and you had the radio on between 5 and 8. And then, when I was, in 1985, we listened to Jazz Bo Collins late at night,
sure,
and people like that. So it was a big part of growing up and learning all the songs and hearing about where all the people were, from Sinatra, and then Linda Ronstadt made all those great records of standards. That was a whole new awakening for that station. So it really was exciting.
Yeah, the ones with Nelson Riddle. I remember playing those in college radio. I was doing similar. Tried to copy WNEW on the college radio station, and those were the big albums of the time. The Linda Ronstadt.
Where was that?
Went to Adelphi, WBAU, the college radio station.
Oh, sure.
So,
yeah. I was at, believe it or not, I was at the University of Tampa, and I even...
Was that right?
I had
I didn't
about
know
five
that.
Yeah, about 5 or 6 records that I would do an hour-long program with the same 5 records every week for a couple of weeks till they were on to me, and then I was banned from the building.
Well, I was up against it too. Everybody else wanted to play rock or folk or whatever, and I was playing this big band. So I said, no, this is the stuff I like. So I at least got 2 hours a week back in college. So it was fun.
That's right.
But John, great to chat with you again. It's called the For Centennial Reasons 100-Year Salute to Nat King Cole, just put out. Ghostlightrecords.com and I guess JohnPizzarelli.com, the 2 places you can get it, right? I guess Amazon as well?
Oh yeah, wherever fine records are sold.
That's it. If you can find a record store, right?
That's right. But they're out there in all all those places too, Amazon and iTunes and everywhere where you can get them. So
great. Well,
they're
John,
there. Looking
forward to seeing you next year with the festival. Where we're getting ready for the edition this year. Your friend Dick Hyman will be part of it again. But we'll definitely chat before you come down next year. That'll be fun.
I look forward to it. Thanks so much.